I won't say who, but we both know this particular individual. He made sure that his son had Covenant Eyes on his phone as his son was going through high school, and did a good job at it, right? So knew enough as to how to lock this down in a way that most people don't know. When this boy went to college, he called his dad and he said, hey, I just want to thank you because I hated having Covenant Eyes on my phone as a teenager when everybody else didn't. But I want to say thank you because everyone here is a predator. His exact words. And this isn't like a converted Christian young adult. This is just someone who looked around and went, I was raised differently. But I think the thing is, it's like our kids are like cracking into the Pentagon's website while we don't know how to check a history file. And so take the burden off yourself, parents. I mean, it's a, get rid of your kid's smartphone. I would suggest, as a father who's imperfect and screws up and apologizes to my kids regularly, I would say get rid of that smartphone. Get a Wise phone. Get a Gab phone. We're not just here to push Wise phone, but look around for an alternative and get that, because your life will become easier, and so will your children's.
Yeah, and I want to know what are tips. This is the hairy question. So you give a kid crack cocaine, an iPhone, and then you take it away. How do you do that as a loving parent? Like, where does your head go? Because I'm sure you've thought about this a little bit. That's just a crazy conversation. How would you approach that?
Well, I think I don't know what to say, except some conversations and actions are worth engaging in, even if they initially create more chaos than order. So the initial frustrations and perhaps temper tantrum that you experience is worth it in the long run. What isn't worth doing is saying, well, if I take this phone away, I mean, gosh, he's going to freak out. And okay, well, the option isn't, we'll just keep doing that then. So it would seem to me that as a parent, you would want to sit your children down and say, look, we're making some decisions in this family because we want to have a healthy family where people are happy and beautiful and live good lives. And iPhones and Androids and all this, they're kind of against us living that life. So we've made a decision that we're all getting, say, Wise phones or a dumb phone or whatever. And here's why we're doing it. And I would just implement it. I mean, what's so great about your phone is it doesn't have the inconveniences of a flip phone. I mean, you can group text, you can send photos, you can use maps. I mean, it's kind of like just the right amount of stuff, but there's zero way to get online. And I had a person come over to my house recently, and they told us the children's ages. And my first question is, your kids don't have phones, do they? Like, do they have phones? I understand it's an offensive, abrasive question, but I'd rather lose friends than my kids be exposed to porn because I was too much of a coward to implement these sorts of things. And this person said, yeah, they do. We've locked it down and things like that. That happened about a month ago. About 2 weeks ago, last week, I get a call from this parent crying because this person has seen how they got around it and how they downloaded Snapchat and how they're accessing porn. So we got them dumb phones for their children. And when I say dumb phones, I mean, smart looking dumb phones. But it's just like, your life doesn't have to be this difficult, parents. Like it doesn't. It could be easier.
Yeah, and I think one of the greatest challenges, it becomes obvious when you take a closer look at big tech, is that they just don't care. I mean, Apple, for example, it is a 22-step process to lock down an iPhone. I could document it for you.
Wow.
And guess what? It changes. Every software update, it becomes 19 steps, and it adjusts itself, and it's still not foolproof. Like, I had a lockdown iPhone. I had accountability partners, whole 9 yards, and I'm sitting here scrolling the news app. Boom. Nudity. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I didn't ask for this. And it's just getting fed to me. There's just loopholes. I mean, Google, YouTube, they used to have parental restrictions on YouTube to where you could lock down a computer, and they defeatured it. So they used to have something that protected kids, and they just took it away.
Don't they have a YouTube Kids, though?
They have a YouTube Kids, but it's like for age 5.
Oh, I see.
I mean, if you give a 12-year-old YouTube Kids, they'll throw it back at you.
Yes, sure.
And that just so reveals the heart of big tech.
Yeah.
They just
It's
don't.
wicked.
Yeah, I mean, they got billions of dollars. They could do this easy. Snap their fingers. In 1 week, they could fix this stuff.
That's funny, though. I mean, this is a deeper conspiracy theory, but the family is the enemy of big state and large government and big tech. Family is the building block of society.
Yeah.
You destroy that, and then the government gets to be parent, you know, and that's kind of the role I think tech sees itself as. Parents have no right to implement these sorts of rules for their children.
Yeah. But back
Screw them.
Yeah, I mean, totally. But back to that moment, like you're talking about with kids and everything, it is hard initially. It's very difficult. But I think one thing to like look forward to and have hope for is that when you go to something like Wise Phone, is that there is a piece about this tech tension battle that I'm sure any parent that's given their phone, a smartphone to a kid, feels it. And it weighs on you every day. Mom, can I blank, have 15 more minutes? Mom, can I download this app? And it's this perpetual tug of war. And that's adversarial. It's like constant negotiation. It just wears you down.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. And our goal is to just like...
It's hard to parent when you're exhausted.
Forget about it. This is the boundaries. It's built in. And you can't argue because it's just what it is.
Yeah, there's no like, can I download this particular app? Sure, if there's an app store. Oh, there isn't? Then I guess you can use the calculator for fun.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that hard conversation. But then afterwards, I truly believe that there's peace, which is... it's worth gold. So
Yeah, and there's a false peace and there's a real peace. So it's like, what do I want? Do I want no conflict? Or do I want goodness for my child that will involve conflict? That's the piece we would prefer that would hopefully end up somewhere better, you know? Yeah. What kind of stories do you guys hear? What's one story that you've heard from a parent or somebody who bought your phone and that really stands out to you?
Yeah, I think the one that I just shared is one that has been particularly impactful. And there's so many that are similar in that vein, but I think another one that really comes to mind, just to share a different one, is a parent that was really kind of similar to myself, if I'm being honest, where just kind of disengaged with their kids. You know, they're home and they're present and they're likable and they're having fun, but they're distracted. Their mind is elsewhere, and you can tell. And it was just so incredibly sweet to hear this dad describe the dynamic. He had two girls, between him and his two girls, and how that had changed. He would come home and they would run and give him a hug and a kiss and then kind of disappear and go and play. And now he comes home and they cling to his leg and they drag him through the house and they're just doing things together. And it was just beautiful to hear him describe this story of just saying, when I put my phone down, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier about the magic of the phone. It's like you rediscover what is out there and what these gifts are that we have in our life, the gift of our spouses, the gift of our kids. Which far outweighs the phone.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below letting us know what you thought about the video.